LeBron James gets that news today. What is today?
Today's his birthday.
Oh, I'm sorry. The greatest birthday gift that LeBron James has ever gotten is the reality, the smack in the face that he's no longer an all-star.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Like Alabama, right? Is there a team that scores more than Alabama? No, right? But they're actually an under team over the last couple of years because their numbers are so high. You get these Americans in Queens College or Denver. Who the hell's betting on them, right? No, but so the lines stay low. They're just like, no one's hopping all over them. But every time you see an Alabama game, you're betting over, but you're losing money because the numbers are so big.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Sometimes those coaches do get the axe regardless of what the owner said just a few short weeks ago. And sometimes, Joe, you can't have it both ways. Like a Jets fan, you probably want them to tank. They're doing a really good job of that by not even being competitive at this point. But at the same time, you sort of want it to be, yeah, we're not competitive winning games, but it looks like we have a future. We might have found our quarterback. We got a good foundation. Nothing is going right.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
He's out again. Anthony Davis is injured once again and is going to miss time with the Dallas Mavericks for a minor groin strain. Likely will miss a few games. And I don't even know what a few games is to Anthony Davis because Anthony Davis seems to always be missing time.
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Hour number 2 officially underway right here on a Football Friday, and a glorious Football Friday coming off the new year. Did you know it's already 2026? I know some people, like back in the day, like we used to write checks out, like, oh, I got to change it to 2026. Does anybody actually write checks at this point right now? So maybe it's not that big of a deal. And Joe, we're old enough to remember, oh no, Y2K. In the year 2000, like if we did this show, would like anything work? Would the internet work? Would our shows work? Would our computers work at this point? At least we don't have to worry about that. But what we do have to worry about is what's going to come up on the horizon to get the people ready, Joe. Exciting day of college football bowl games, if you're into that. Tomorrow, 2 extra meaningful NFL games. Craziness on Sunday. Then, Joe, when we come back live on a broadcast on the Early Line on Monday, we're talking playoff football, man. What a time.
Gotta love it, right? Here we are, get ready to close out the NFL. It's hard to believe, right? I mean, we're only a couple more games in college football now. And we got postseason football in the NFL, and you got conference play in college basketball, Donnie, which also it gets real interesting. So little something for everyone. Plus the Winter Classic in a dome in air conditioning. Don't forget that is coming up as well down the road for me. Winter Classic in Miami. Go figure.
By the way, Joe, the college football, I don't know if we have a graphic that we can place up. The college football playoff, Miami. Their next game, is it on the 8th of the month, I believe?
8th. Fiesta Bowl, yes.
What day is the Fiesta Bowl then?
That is next Thursday, Donnie. Thursday.
Okay, so we got Thursday. Okay, good. So we got Thursday, Friday, and then we roll into the weekend there with the place. Now, you want to talk perfect scenario. We're nailing this here. We're not worried about Mondays and Tuesdays. Thursday, Friday games, absolutely sensational, Joe. Let's get to the hottest topics here, which includes, could we get to see some sensational football and Sunday Night Football from Lamar Jackson? He says, I'm back, baby. And maybe better than ever, 3.5-point favorite on that game in Pittsburgh here. Does he come back to save the day or put Tyler Huntley back in?
Well, listen, all he's got to do is he's got to be healthy enough to hand the ball off to Derrick Henry. That's it. Yeah. That's all you got to be able to do because it's going to be 14 degrees. It's going to be, wind is going to be blowing. It's not supposed to be a good day at all. And you're not going to be throwing it a ton or asking him to throw it a ton anyway. So to me, if they learned anything last week, it's just hand the ball off to the Mack truck that is going to carry you into the postseason. Yeah. And that would be Derrick Henry. That's all he's got to do.
No, absolutely. Just hand and again, would anybody be mad at Baltimore if Derrick Henry got 22 carries and they lost? Like, hey, we gave our best
Nope.
foot forward. But you know me, Joe. You know the Baltimore Ravens. Hey, Lamar's back. Oh, wow. Lamar threw it 42 times on Sunday night in a close loss. Don't do it. Don't hand the football off, work off play action, and you're a better football team that way. Chris Olave does make the New Orleans Saints better, but he has a blood clot now. He's down for this game and also the offseason. But the lucky part about this, NFL players get unbelievable care. And for them to catch this in time, fantastic, disaster avoided. We'll go into the offseason, get healthy, and come back next year. And looks like they might have a franchise quarterback along with them.
Yeah, I believe they do. I mean, it's kind of crazy. And no, his name is not Spencer Rattler. Go figure. But yes, it's an unfortunate loss here. But it is, the kind of situation where, maybe they rally around their teammate here, Olave, who wanted to be out there for Shuck, but unfortunately, there's pictures of him laying in a hospital bed right now. So maybe, just maybe, that's the extra motivation New Orleans can rally behind to get the job done against Atlanta.
No extra motivation for Jordan Love. He won't play this week. You're on a de facto bye for the Green Bay Packers, but he is a go for the playoffs here. Good news for the Green Bay Packers.
Great news for the Green Bay Packers. Yeah. Not really good news given the fact Clayton Tune is playing week 18, but it's a meaningless game. So I would imagine the more important thing is get as many people healthy as possible here for Green Bay. And that is the plan that they're going forward with.
How about this plan for the NBA? We're staying on Christmas Day because our ratings did increase, and away we go here. The NBA did get some. By the way, the NBA put their best foot forward on Christmas Day. They actually had some really good matchups and some good games, but it's still the NFL. Like, how does the NFL outdo like regular broadcast TV when they put their games behind a paywall with horrible games? We're like, yeah, we'd rather watch those horrible games. The NFL is just a Megatron out here, if you will.
And they never, ever, Donnie, football was never about Christmas. It was always the NBA. And then all of a sudden the NFL's like, yeah, we don't mind if we just kind of nudge you out of the picture. But don't think so. You keep scheduling games like you did on Christmas Day. I promise you 47 million will be 80 million next year.
It's incredible, man. Again, they're still going to print money. They still get good ratings. But when you go up against the NFL, it's just like, man, NFL, just leave us alone at this point. Troy Aikman, he said, wait a second. Why does it say Troy Aikman with a Miami Dolphins logo? Is he coming back to coach the Dolphins or play for the Dolphins? No. He's coming to the Dolphins to say, look, let me give some input. I want some championships. I was with a really good organization in the Cowboys back in the day. I think I can lend some leadership here and help you pick a general manager that will finally put you on a path to, I don't know, making the playoffs and winning a game.
I mean, listen, I think it goes to tell you how respected Aikman is in community circles here, in the football circles there, where, hey, listen, I mean, Marino's part of this committee as well that they're putting together. Get people who understand the game and understand the current temperature to try to find and put this organization on the right track. I don't hate the move. I really don't.
No, it's again, just get some outside leadership in the building. Sooner than later, you're going to win a playoff game, and maybe this is one of those things that can help you out. How about this? Tatsuya Ime signs with the Houston Astros here. Look, you see some of these superstars come over and pay immediate dividends. Let's see if he can help pay dividends for Houston. Because, by the way, maybe his tack rate fastball is going to go up, Joe. Spin rate's going to look really good there in Houston, huh?
Well, listen, what we have seen, right? I think up to $63 million over 3 years, but he can opt out after 26, 27. But listen, we've seen it. They have a history of delivering pitchers that can dominate at least early on in their careers here in Major League Baseball. That would be a pretty good get there for Houston, for sure.
It would be a pretty good get. How about a pretty good get for the Buffalo Sabres? 10 straight victories here. Moving forward, trying to make the playoffs. The Sabres, we haven't heard from the Sabres since like the, the French Connection line back in the 70s?
What is you fire your GM and all of a sudden now, a GM was the guy that was holding you back. Unbelievable job playing some great hockey, and good for the city of Buffalo, because now it's not just all about the Bills here. Maybe, just maybe, the Sabres can make a comeback here.
Yeah, they love their hockey up there. Sometimes you look at those, old school teams, as I like to say, where the fans care so much, but they just don't get anything
Yep.
repaid. Like I don't like Cleveland as a city, but boy, do I respect that fan base. They show up every single
Yes.
week knowing they have zero chance, where they deserve a good football team in Cleveland. They just might never get one. Same thing with the Buffalo Sabres fans, man. Make it happen, make it work, and away we go. Also, Joe, let me ask you this quick question because we have a little bit extra time here. The college football playoff. Are we up for changes where it's seeming like, thank goodness for Indiana, because every bye week team ain't working out so well for them here, Joe? Are we looking to end the byes and expand the college football playoff maybe as early as next year?
Well, I think it'd be. I don't think more is the answer, but it does appear, and I think you got one more year, Donnie, to for a sample size, but it does appear clearly that those teams that have 21, 25 days off between games,
Yeah.
It's clearly, it looks like it's affecting those teams. And listen, even early on, it wasn't like Indiana looked like world beaters right off the bat. It took them a little while to get the offense going there as well. So, maybe there is something to it, but I think we got at least another year and we'll see as a sample size.
By the way, what sport does this, though, Joe? Like, what sport actually does this? Like, in Major League Baseball, we now get upset, like, the Phillies got 3 days off. Like, they won't be able to hit a fastball in 3 days. You're talking about taking almost a month off in college football. And even back in the day where it's like you're going to the mythical national championship game. Hey, ended our season November 6th. See you January the 2nd. What, are we kidding at this point? 1986 Miami Dolphins. I mean, Vinny Testaverde is riding around crashing scooters on those 3, 4, 5 weeks off here. No wonder he didn't play well in that game against Penn State in the Fiesta Bowl. My goodness here. We got the coach coming up next. Let's talk about what happened in the college football playoff so far. And also, maybe he thinks a new national champion? Interesting. Ooh.
LeBron James gets that news today. What is today?
Today's his birthday.
Oh, I'm sorry? The greatest birthday gift that LeBron James has ever gotten is the reality, the smack in the face that he's no longer an all-star.
The Craig Carden Show. Only on SportsGrid.
Like Alabama, right? Is there a team that scores more than Alabama? No, right? But they're actually an under team over the last couple of years because their numbers are so high. You get these Americans in Queens College or Denver. Who the hell's betting on them, right? No, but so the lines stay low. They're just like, no one's hopping all over them. But every time you see an Alabama game, you're betting over, but you're losing money because the numbers are so big.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Sometimes those coaches do get the axe regardless of what the owner said just a few short weeks ago. But sometimes, Joe, you can't have it both ways. Like a Jets fan, you probably want them to tank. They're doing a really good job of that by not even being competitive at this point. But at the same time, you sort of want it to be, we're not competitive winning games, but it looks like we have a future. We might have found our quarterback. We got a good foundation. Nothing is going right.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
He's out again. Anthony Davis is injured once again and is going to miss time with the Dallas Mavericks for a minor groin strain. Likely will miss a few games. And I don't even know what a few games is to Anthony Davis because Anthony Davis seems to always be missing time.
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Enjoy your New Year's Day. Yesterday, we got some amazing football, some blowout football, but the most important part, we got championship football. We're now down to a Final Four. It's Donnie right side. It's Joe Ranieri, and we welcome in the coach, Terry Bowden, who was down in New Orleans. We're going to get to that game, Coach, but we saw it all yesterday, didn't we?
It was unbelievable. We thought things we really weren't ready to see. Georgia, Ole Miss. We saw Oregon play like many of us thought they could play. Texas Tech kind of shocked us with their lack of productivity. Then I was the one guy that said if there's a chance for a blowout, it's going to be Indiana, Alabama. And sure enough, Alabama's weakness were exposed. Indiana's thoroughness, they're just overall check all the box team is what they are.
Coach, I want to ask you this question, too, because it's a topic that's coming up, and certainly over the next couple of years, maybe changes get made to the college football playoff. Talk to us about some of these teams in the mindset of getting back on the field quicker, staying in your practice rhythms, and then some of these teams having the bye week saying, hey, we haven't played in 3.5 weeks. It's really struggling. How do you get your team past that? And also, will there changes be made to the landscape?
Well, and I played it off a little bit. I said, hey, we had bowls. We were all off for a month back in the day when we played BCS, but both teams had the same amount of time off, and you didn't realize when you were playing bad early or whatever. Now it's an imbalance. You've got one team with time off, the other not. And we're not prepared for it. It's definitely a disadvantage for a team off 2 to 3 weeks. Everybody through the season is used to 1 or 2 off weeks, bye weeks, and you plan for that. Everybody knows how to do it. I think we're seeing now that it's a definite disadvantage to have your kids not practicing, not playing football that long. And we saw it Saturday, we saw it yesterday and the day before of how that affects the games being played. They got to live with, I think, another year, but they've got to balance that out. This is the championship. These are the best teams in America. We need to have, for everybody, for me, trying to pick a game, everybody involved, we need to have a level playing field.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, Coach, from a scheduling perspective, too, because it feels kind of weird that Miami's going to have a rest advantage over Ole Miss now because Miami played on Wednesday. Ole Miss had the late game last night. So how is that fair? Or do you think that doesn't matter very much?
No, it does matter. We're talking about the championships here. We're Final Four teams. One full day is huge. Now, it does happen during the season to everybody one time at least, but that's during early season. During the season, we adjust, we lose or win, and go from there. But we're talking about we must have a level playing field in these final 12 teams, final 8 teams, 4 teams, and that one day off is a factor as well. Just getting well and another time to put your game plan in. So, again, it's what it has out there. They adjust this thing every year. They still got to tinker with this playoff a little bit to get it as close to right as possible.
Indiana undefeated, Coach. Certainly one of the best seasons they've ever seen in Indiana and one of the more remarkable turnarounds. The perennial doormat of the Big Ten always was Indiana. Curt Cignetti, within a few short years, has them as one of the best teams in college football. The NIL is helping. He's got this thing going. But if we look at that game overall, Coach, they bullied Alabama. Unbelievable performance by Indiana.
Yeah, I think 2 things are happening. One, people are beginning to understand Curt Cignetti did not just show up in college football. He's been training for this all his life, and he's been a head coach when nobody. I used to like to say when I was coaching small schools, I was learning how to coach with nobody watching, and then by the time you get to the big stage, you can perform. Because I won 20 straight my first time in Power 4, and he's doing the same thing and even more. And I think people are recognizing that. But the biggest thing is it's going to be a headache and a heartache in Alabama. They are searching. They have got to question everything they do because they have put Kalen DeBoer back on the hot seat. After the SEC championship, he won one, but now after this, they're questioning everything, and it's going to be a tough offseason, and they do. They need to run the ball better. They need to be more physical. I've noticed that all year. It's not old Alabama style. And there's an old saying in the SEC, they'd rather run the ball and lose than pass it and win. Not really, but that's kind of what they want to physically knock you down, hit you in the mouth. And I don't think Alabama plays that kind of football right now. Indiana does.
Coach, I got to tell you, the irony is absolutely delicious, but sorry, Lane leaves to go to LSU to win a national championship, and Ole Miss might actually beat him to it here. What did you see? What was the difference between the first half and second half last night? Because it looked like Ole Miss just stopped the mistakes and took advantage of Georgia's.
Well, yes, I was there and I watched the feel of the game, and it was a little different in the second half in the scoring of points. But the biggest thing, the answer or the X factor is Trinidad Chambliss. He was good at the beginning. He was good at the end. He made plays. He created plays. He had imagination. Their offense, and they had no answer. The biggest answer or biggest thing that came out of the game on a 4th and 4 on your own 30, down 3 points with 9 minutes left and 3 timeouts. A defensive head coach goes for it because he doesn't trust his defense. That was all about Trinidad Morris. That changed everything I'm thinking about Georgia because they didn't trust their defense enough, and that may be the critical play of the game. But the point was they kept shutting down Georgia's running game on first down. Trinidad Chambliss extended plays. They could never make him punt and get him off the field. That's why he went for it on 4th and 4. And then he made the great play at the end of the game, perfect pass for the winning field goal. So, again, now you got to look at Ole Miss and Miami as true contenders now. We've got a great Final Four now. We got 2 hot teams nobody expected and 2 teams everybody thought would be pretty good.
It's unbelievable, too, because we thought maybe that collision course would have been Georgia taking on, let's just say, Ohio State. Now those 2 favorites are knocked out. If we re-rack, Coach, Indiana's the favorite, plus 128, followed by Oregon, Miami, and Ole Miss. As you said, it's a great Final Four. So I ask you this question early. With these Final Four teams, Coach, who's your favorite team here moving forward?
Can anybody go against any? I mean, you're crazy if you say, and you can pick against Indiana. They don't seem to have any boxes unchecked. But after that, I think it's a real toss-up. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. In the other 3 teams, which ones can challenge Indiana, I believe.
Fantastic stuff, Coach. Get yourself some beignets down there. Enjoy, because you got a treat last night in that football game, and we got 2 more great college football games on the horizon, Coach. Thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Take care, bud. Happy New Year.
There we go. Happy New Year to the coach as well. We'll be right back after this short break. More football action underway. It's going to be a big weekend here, and we'll get you ready for it next, right here on the Early Line.
LeBron James gets that news today. What is today?
Today's his birthday.
Oh, I'm sorry? The greatest birthday gift that LeBron James has ever gotten is the reality, the smack in the face that he's no longer an all-star.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
Like Alabama, right? Is there a team that scores more than Alabama? No, right? But they're actually an under team over the last couple of years because their numbers are so high. You get these Americans in Queens College or Denver. Who the hell's betting on them, right? No, but so the lines stay low. They're just like, no one's hopping all over them. But every time you see an Alabama game, you're betting over, but you're losing money because the numbers are so big.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Sometimes those coaches do get the axe regardless of what the owner said just a few short weeks ago. And sometimes, Joe, you can't have it both ways. Like a Jets fan, you probably want them to tank. They're doing a really good job of that by not even being competitive at this point. But at the same time, you sort of want it to be, we're not competitive winning games, but it looks like we have a future. We might have found our quarterback. We got a good foundation. Nothing is going right.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
He's out again. Anthony Davis is injured once again and is going to miss time with the Dallas Mavericks for a minor groin strain. Likely will miss a few games. And I don't even know what a few games is to Anthony Davis because Anthony Davis seems to always be missing time.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Predictive markets, we love to take a look at those, which includes NFL games. And by the way, if you think some of these things are wrapped up, MVP could be wrapped up, but padding those stats in Week 18 could help you out. Same thing with coaches, Joe, as we take a look at the predictive markets analysis of the Coach of the Year winner. Right now, it sits as Mike Vrabel at a 42% chance, followed closely by Kyle Shanahan, who's a 38% chance, who's actually up 16% in the recent weeks here. Now, understand what we're going to see in the final week of the season, Joe. Vrabel sitting there with a chance to be the number 1 overall seed and maybe a layup game against the Miami Dolphins. Expectations are they're going to win that, but if they do get the 1 seed, maybe get a bump. But we don't think the Chargers are going to actually knock off the Denver Broncos. But how about Kyle Shanahan? His team's been injured all year. New quarterbacks, new running backs, new wide receivers, new tight ends, new offensive line, new you name it here, and still they're fighting for the top spot. If they win that game on Sunday, Joe, or excuse me, Saturday night, number 1 overall seed. I don't know where we go here with this one, Joe, because I want to say, like, the winner of that Seattle 49ers game gets that huge bump. Is it Shanahan? Is it Vrabel? Is it somebody else? Are we overthinking it here?
To me, it's Sean Payton. I don't even know how it's close here. Like, what? Everyone have the Denver Broncos having the number 1 seed this year, with everyone who was like, oh, Bo Nix, his game, man, he's not any good. I mean, I don't know what people thought the expectations were for the Denver Broncos, Donnie, but it wasn't 1 win away from the road to the Super Bowl coming through Denver. I think a fantastic job by Sean Payton. I think the amount of success, not an easy, he's beaten every team he's supposed to beat, and they've done it both on the road and heck, I'm still salty about the 1 game they lost that they should have ended up winning. So I think Payton should be considered for Coach of the Year with what he's done, especially if they run the table and beat the Chargers and get the number 1 seed.
Yeah, because it's a subjective award. So it's like, okay, maybe somebody's doing a straw poll at this point, but a lot's still going to be decided. And you're like, Liam Cohen only at 8%. Man, Jacksonville's been fantastic. And let me tell you this, if there are some upsets and Jacksonville overtakes and moves up in the seedings, that could make a difference. Ben Johnson has a big game to secure the number 2 seed for the Chicago Bears. That's impressive as well. A lot of these coaches certainly deserving of that feature. But for me, it still feels like, I think if Kyle Shanahan and that 49ers team has a huge night, maybe he gets the bump at that point. Maybe if Vrabel stumbles, he falls down. There's a lot of different options certainly that you can make here. How about the number 1 overall pick in the 2026 draft, which you're figuring after yesterday? It's like, well, let me see how this plays out yesterday. Mendoza, ultra efficient, fantastic quarterback. He sits at 70%, has a chance. And quite frankly, I don't even know if it's that close anymore, because he's just cementing it right now with this run for Indiana, Joe.
He really is. I mean, that was a fantastic game against Alabama yesterday, and he's been doing that all year. It's why he's the Heisman winner. But the question is, to me too, Donnie, is I think, yes, he'll be the first quarterback off the board, but who's taking him? Because I'm not sure the Raiders are taking him, if that's crazy enough to believe. I'm just saying.
Who the Raiders go? Ruben Hurricane Bain? Who we going with that top spot if it is the Vegas Raiders? Ooh.
Yeah, I think they trade out of it.
Bain and Crosby?
Just redo the team. Redo the team. Yep.
Absolutely incredible stuff here. How about pro basketball points per game leader? Luka Doncic, SGA, and by the way, Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey has turned into the Eastern Conference's version of SGA, where every single game it's mandatory. He's in the 30s here, Joe. But it looks like the points per game leader. Could it be Luka? Austin Reeves is down. A little bit more offense needed from him. LeBron James, not the same player. SGA guaranteed to get you 32 a night. And then Maxey showing up there, which is really interesting. Other guys in the marketplace, Jalen Brunson, James Harden, so forth. Any looks here, Joe, for you as the pro basketball points per game leader this year?
Yeah.
Scoring
Kawhi Leonard, who dropped another 45 points last night in a win there. And if he keeps this up and he's finally healthy, and this reminds me a lot of the Kawhi Leonard of the San Antonio Spurs and Toronto Raptors. This guy is playing at a different level. Why? Because it sounds like he's finally healthy enough to get it done.
How about that? Look, and by the way, if you are placing a $100 investment on Tyrese Maxey at 8% here, Joe, that's going to pay you back $1,250. Again, it's just cool for the season's leader in points game for average, which is, again, the scoring leader, just to keep it simple. A lot of guys out there, a lot of plays left to be made, Joe, but you can make investments here that goes up. Luke is the favorite. He's always going to be the favorite, but also how many games do you have to play to have that ultimate, like, hey, you get injured here, you're the points leader, then you didn't play enough games to qualify for that. So that still winds up about it. But for me, I'm taking a shot on Maxey here, Joe. What do you think about that? Tyrese Maxey,
I like it.
Philadelphia 76ers. Hey, you know what
They
else Joe
don't
likes?
have any depth.
NFL football. No depth.
Yep.
VJ, he's not stealing it. Joel Embiid, he plays every fifth night tonight. Let's get to the NFL. More hot topics. Football Friday, people. That's how we do it.
Like Alabama, right? Is there a team that scores more than Alabama? No, right? But they're actually an under team over the last couple of years because their numbers are so high. You get these Americans in Queens College or Denver. Who the hell's betting on them, right? No, but so the lines stay low. They're just like, no one's hopping all over them. But every time you see an Alabama game, you're betting over, but you're losing money because the numbers are so big.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
He's out again. Anthony Davis is injured once again and is going to miss time with the Dallas Mavericks for a minor groin strain. Likely will miss a few games. And I don't even know what a few games is to Anthony Davis because Anthony Davis seems to always be missing time.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
I mean, they couldn't get the Arizona State coach to come out. They couldn't get the BYU coach to leave their job. I mean, it's just very odd, I feel, when we watch this whole thing play out and try and really understand what happened here with Michigan not being able to make some of the splashier hires that they thought they were going to be able to make.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
I know exactly what Patriot Nation is screaming this morning. It's Drake May time. Give him the trophy. MVP. Stop it, please. Just sit down. Yes, Drake May has had a nice season. But let's be real. He has played a JV schedule of defenses. He is carving up the easiest slate of defenses in the NFL this season. Congratulations on your beatdown of the Jets.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
The number one seed in both conferences in the NFL, both AFC and NFC, is up for grabs. And you say, ooh, that's kind of interesting here. We're going to decide one of those on Saturday night between Seattle and San Francisco. The winner of that game, Joe, automatically gets that number one seed here. You go to Sunday, there are some teams in the driver's seat, and that includes the Denver Broncos. They are at home against the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers are already in the playoffs. The Chargers are telling you, hey, you know what? Can't really improve our seating all that much. Our quarterback's banged up. We're going to sit him and probably some other starters, which showed a line for Denver. Look ahead, Joe, at 5.5. There's now ballooned to 12.5 across the marketplace here. Denver needs that victory for the number one seed. They'll give it their full effort. The Chargers basically looking for a bye week here. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, too, because I think the Chargers can climb to the 5 seed in the AFC if they win and the Texans lose. So, but obviously with Herbert, and I get sitting Herbert here, how many other guys? I mean, everyone else on that offensive line for the Chargers is a backup anyway, Donnie. So, I mean, who are you sitting? I do think this is a tricky spot here. It feels like Denver will handle business, but it also feels like Harbaugh is going to opt to make sure health is the bigger goal here than maybe actually getting that number 5 seed.
Yeah, like nothing is for sure in the NFL, and we see that each and every week. But there is a little caveat on week 18. Like, let's just say go back, like, oh, man, the Dallas Cowboys should kill Washington, and then Washington might be able to hang around. Like, we've seen that so many times. But they're actively telling, like, one side will not try, one side will try, and one side is really good, and away you go, where it's like, all right, but understand this, Joe. There's going to be a point in some of these games that we talk about, like, Chargers are up 13-7 at the half over the Broncos. Oh, my goodness. Everything's like that always happens in Week 18. Or you could get the Denver Broncos up 27-0 midway through the second quarter because the Chargers actively aren't playing in this game. Buyer beware, as we like to say. Let's keep moving down the list. Maybe the most important game also this weekend. This is going to be a night game in Pittsburgh between the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. A 3.5-point favorite now as it sits for the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson coming back into the fold. Derrick Henry has been running wild. It's a great game we're anticipating, but don't count the Steelers out. Usually when you do that at home as underdogs, they might rise to the occasion.
Well, this has always been one of those spots, right, where Tomlin as a dog, especially at home, I mean, they always play better. This series has always been about it being within one score, right? Usually a field goal is ultimately what ends up getting it done. But I got to tell you, I'm looking at the weather report. It doesn't look great again, which is kind of what you would think, right? So I don't think we're going to get a ton of passing. We already know that Aaron Rodgers is going to be down his two top weapons, right? I don't know if Austin can even go with the hamstring. So it feels like the running game in the trenches is what this game is going to be all about. So it feels like another under spot for both of these teams and the Derrick Henry show.
Yeah, and you're right about that, too, because Washington's his favorite tight end. He's not playing this game. He's actually on the IR.
Nope.
The Steelers think they have to go to the Super Bowl even to get that guy back. No DK Metcalf, so more of a plodding offense, which then I'm telling you right now, Pittsburgh shouldn't be able to score a lot of points as is. We'll see if the Baltimore Ravens help them out by, hey, 3rd and 1, let's throw the football and we get an incomplete pass and punt it back to the Steelers. Something certainly to watch out for because we've seen it happen in the past. But here's Aaron Rodgers talking about his future possibly with Pittsburgh.
You still kind of have that drive right now, thinking about the what ifs and how much better things could be.
Listen, I mean, I'm thinking about this week, but obviously I'm 42 years old and I'm on a 1-year deal, so you know what the situation is. Whenever the season ends, I'll be a free agent, so that'll give me a lot of options if I still want to play. I mean, a lot of options, but there'll be options. I would think maybe 1 or 2 if I decide I still want to play. But I've enjoyed this experience and. Everybody in Pittsburgh has been fantastic to me on and off the field, and it's really what I was hoping for this experience. It's been even better than I was hoping.
Understand this, Joe. A lot of things change once the football games get played. And the reason I bring that up is, yes, Aaron Rodgers probably wants to come back next year. Maybe physically he can. But if you are the Steelers and you had Aaron Rodgers with this horrendous division and you lose this game Sunday night, honestly, what's the point of bringing him back? For real, what is it?
Yeah, it's a great question, Donnie. And I didn't expect him to do this, if we're being completely honest. I never expected him to come back with Pittsburgh. But if you're Pittsburgh, again, you're just good enough where you're not getting a franchise quarterback in the draft. So what, maybe just maybe another 1-year deal to come back to Pittsburgh could be in the future for him. Outside of that, I don't know who else is going to be offering a 43-year-old Aaron Rodgers an opportunity.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see it play out, but a lot of stakes on the line on Sunday night as the Pittsburgh Steelers are a 3.5-point underdog in a winner-take-all division championship, which you win. You move on to play in the playoffs next week, and you get a home game there. Let's flip it over now to the NFC. The Chicago Bears, with a victory, and it doesn't matter what else happens in the NFL, they'll secure the number 2 spot. They're only 3-point favorites over the Detroit Lions because that's probably the one team you don't want to play with nothing on the line because Detroit will play as if everything is on the line. Their defense stinks. They haven't played well, but they would love nothing less than to put up a fight here, Joe, and knock the Chicago Bears down some standings. Say, hey, Ben Johnson, that's going to give you a free victory because we loved you when you were here.
Yeah, and what are they going to do? End the year on a 3-game losing streak? You don't think Dan Campbell wants that either, do you? So I would imagine, again, not a ton if you're just happy to be there and you're Chicago, right? Although you're coming off a crazy loss there on Monday night against the 49ers. Nobody wants to limp into the playoffs on a losing streak. But at the same time, this just feels like push comes to shove, Detroit is going to leave it all out on the line here to beat the Bears.
Yeah, here's Ben Johnson talking about if they can get a 4,000-yard passer in the Windy City.
In May, you said you wanted to try and change the narrative around the quarterback here in Chicago. Is there any incentive to get Caleb that 4,000-yard passing mark that hasn't happened here?
If it were to happen, that'd be great. But he would agree with me when I say our number one objective is to win this ball game, and so whatever that takes, that's our goal, and we'll see where it's at the end of the year. But that's tertiary goal, if you will.
Seems like Caleb's playing. Do you appreciate what that might symbolize, though? I mean, maybe not on the face of it, but just what it might mean.
I think it's an arbitrary number, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know what would that mean? You tell me.
The only franchise to never have a 4,000-yard passer.
Okay, there are probably some that don't have a 5,000-yard passer either, right? So I mean, it's just a number. So
you're new, but that's kind of a big deal here.
Yeah, apparently it is.
A lot, but
apparently it is.
Now, understand this, because the point's being brought up and he's counter-punching this. Like, hey, look, we're trying to win the football game and we get it. But milestones mean a lot to quarterbacks, running backs, DBs, sack guys, even coaches at this point. Caleb Williams is listed, Joe, at 236.5 as his passing prop. He needs 270 to get to that 4,000-yard marker. Now, if you can pass a little more, that's great, but this isn't one of those games where it's like, hey, it doesn't mean anything. Let's just get your numbers and get you in and out. So you have to get it in the flow of the football game. But do you put any extra stakes? Because they didn't put this number at 270 for Caleb. Like, hey, if they break it, and that's what it's going to be. It's 236.5. I have a tendency to believe that even though Ben Johnson is playing that off, that's still another check mark and, a notch on his belt. If he can get hey, look, I came to town 1 year. We already got a 4,000-yard passer. Is that a big deal for you betting-wise on a prop?
No, it's not because A, I don't like Caleb Williams to begin with, but B, I will say this. I believe is the last 5 games as a favorite, this being the Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams averaging about 246 yards a game when they're expected to win. Feels like they're expected to win this game if he gets at least that, Donnie, right? You got the record, no?
Yeah. Cardinals and the Rams here. Not a lot to play for here for the Los Angeles Rams. By the way, they had everything at their feet, Joe, just a few short weeks ago. Now they're a wild card team and probably going to wind up playing the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll talk a little bit more about these games a little bit later in the show, but the coach is coming up next here. Get a little briefing on what's taking place in the NBA. We'll talk next. Don't go anywhere.
Crosby has now left the team, by the way. He's pissed. Anyway, look at he's angry. He wants to play. He doesn't like what they're doing here. It's all sort of speculation.
This might be the final straw, George, for him there. Like, I don't know why he stays. Yeah, I know. The thing is, he's got a Raider freaking tattoo. Like, the guy loves the Raiders. Like, he really does love playing for the Raiders. But and now, like you said, he's not happy about this.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Sometimes those coaches do get the axe regardless of what the owner said just a few short weeks ago. And sometimes, Joe, you can't have it both ways. Like a Jets fan, you probably want them to tank. They're doing a really good job of that by not even being competitive at this point. But at the same time, you sort of want it to be, we're not competitive winning games, but it looks like we have a future. We might have found our quarterback. We got a good foundation. Nothing is going right.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
It's going to open up Pandora's box. But I will say this. I do believe players that sign now, like Najee, should not be eligible now, but should have to sit out and come back in next year. It's just a slippery slope. And I agree with people like Tom Izzo. I don't like it at all.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
LeBron James gets that news today. What is today?
Today's his birthday.
Oh, I'm sorry? The greatest birthday gift that LeBron James has ever gotten is the reality, the smack in the face that he's no longer an all-star.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Hot topics all the way around, which does include the NBA and a little NCAA action as we jump into conference play, which is absolutely fantastic. It's your boy DRS, it's Joe Ranieri, and welcome in the Coach, James Young. Coach, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys. It seems like there's fireworks in college basketball, the NBA. Yeah. And shout out to my Miami Hurricanes for taking out Florida State.
Yeah.
Not Florida State. Who did they take out again?
Even better.
Ohio State.
Florida State don't matter.
State, yeah. Ohio State, they take them all out.
Look, anytime you say Miami takes out Florida State, regardless if they play it or not, she always gets the thumbs up from this side of the table here, Coach. Don't you worry about that. Let's talk about another coach, though. Let's get a snippet here. Will Wade talking about Darian Williams. What's going on here?
What's your concern level where Darion's game is?
Absolutely zero. You know, I'm tired of hearing about frickin' Darian. Playing well. All right? It's a terrible question. It's a terrible question. And let me be frank with you. He affects winning. And everybody's out here about him and all this stuff. He affects winning. He was plus 13 against Ole Miss and didn't hit a shot. And everybody's acting like the world's caving in. The guy's a damn good player. He didn't shoot it well today. What did he have? Who had 0 turnovers for us today? Darian Williams. 6 rebounds, 4 turnovers. 4 assists, 0 turnovers. So everybody needs to shut the hell up about him. He's a damn good player. And the shot's going to fall. I'm tired of answering questions about him. He's really good. We're thankful to have him. Next question.
Well, I am not the biggest Will Wade supporter for some of the ways that he acts. But the one thing about Will Wade is Will Wade comes by it honestly. You know, we can talk about the way he handled himself at McNeese State, basically openly telling everyone that he's going to NC State, and he was very upfront and honest. Now, as a player, if you're Darian Williams, a kid that started off in Nevada, 2-time All Big 12 player, had a great run with Texas Tech, with JT Toppin leading Grant McCaslin's team to the Elite Eight. This is not the start you wanted, but you like that your coach is backing you up. Now, it's very simple, folks. Last 2 games combined 3 of 20 from the floor. That is John Stark's 1994 Game 7 type numbers.
Yeah.
But you kind of look at, there's other games where this kid has played pretty well. So right now he's getting you about 14.2 points. He's averaging 5.5 assists. So I guess kudos to Will Wade for defending his kid. But in the case of your Darian Williams, sometimes when you go in the transfer portal and you get the bag, sometimes you start to feel a little bit of pressure. Maybe starting to feel it a little bit right now.
Oh, yeah, he's feeling it. He right there, I think he hurt his shoulder, Coach. They said counting that bag. I think that's where the problem came in. He counted all that NIL money, and now he can't shoot. But it's still a long season here, Coach. It's also a long season in the association. And it was funny because we were just talking about who you think is going to win the scoring title this year in the NBA. And my point was, if Kawhi keeps dropping 40, 50 a game the way he is, guess what, Coach? He's going to be the scoring champion. He is actually healthy for the first time, it feels like, since what, the Raptors run?
Yeah, for first time, it's just the Raptors running. And listen, what he has done is he has showed you the way he scores methodically, like a surgeon, how he executes, doesn't take too many dribbles, and he does it in such a quiet demeanor that you're like, if you're just watching his demeanor, you're like, he's got 35 right now? Like, and that's the way that's interesting right now with a team that, let's be honest, I was very high on the Clippers before the year. I thought they were winning the Pacific Division. Obviously, they've gone off to a terrible start. But I tell you this right now, Joe, you don't want to see this team in the playoffs because they got a big-time scorer. They have James Harden, well, unless it's a Game 7, and they have one of the best coaches in Tyronn Lue. So right now, the Claw is playing like the vintage Claw, and that's good for Clipper fans.
How about this, Coach? Take a look at OKC taking on the Golden State Warriors late night tonight, Coach, at 10 p.m. Line opened up around 7. Ooh. It's quickly moving up to 9s and 8.5 in the marketplace here, going up against those Warriors. 228.5 is a total. Give me a little preview for OKC tonight, headed out to Golden State.
Well, you're looking at the injury report right now, trying to see if there's anyone out of note that could probably, as I swung, as I pull it up, you swing the line. There's no really upsets. Draymond's out for rest, but I mean, what does Draymond give you anyway, especially on the offensive end? So to me, if you want to look it over. But an Oklahoma City team that, unless it's a team, like the Spurs, they're kind of beating everyone up. I expect them to come out and roll tonight against the Warriors.
Oh, how about your Lakers there, Coach? What do you think? And taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. More defense tonight from the Lakers? Because I heard Redick was still upset. No defense? Nothing, Coach?
No defense. What you're going to see is high usage rate out of LeBron and out of Luke. And let's be honest, with Austin Reeves, I don't think people realize how good Austin Reeves is, right? And in regard to a secondary ball handler score, this kid can really go. And a Memphis team that is just another kind of flaky team. When they're engaged, they play well. When they don't, they're terrible. There's the job factor. And remember, these two teams do not like each other, particularly John. I wonder if Shannon Sharp's going to be at the game tonight. If Shannon Sharp's going to be at the game tonight, I'm going to go over half of a technical foul for John Moran or his father.
By the way, Coach, you're an educator out there. You're a basketball coach. What's the epidemic now with players saying, you know what? I ain't listening to the coach. I'm out of here. I'm headed back to the locker room. Where are we getting this from now, Coach? What's going on? Anthony Edwards just did it. Draymond Green's doing it. Is this the new thing now?
Listen, man. Could you imagine if we did this back in the day?
Yes.
Like if we walked up the floor, a coach would be like, drop your uniform off at the door. We'll see you next season. You can go transfer. But, do that to John Thompson. Do that to Pop. Do that to Bobby Knight. Do that to Mike Krzyzewski. Good Lord. Now you know why, at least in college, all these guys are getting out, and these young guys are coaching the league, too. They can't handle these players at all.
Look, I mean, like the team would even handle it themselves. Always going back to the locker room. Why is the rest of the team going there? They're probably going to beat on him while he's in the locker room. You're taking a separate bus home, Coach. Can't do it. New year, Coach. Let me see the new jump shots. Working on any techniques? It always works. It always works. It always does.
Crosby has now left the team, by the way. He's pissed. Anyway, look at he's angry. He wants to play. He doesn't like what they're doing here. There's all sort of speculation.
This might be the final straw, George, for him there. Like, I don't know why he stays. Yeah, I know. The thing is, he's got a Raider freaking tattoo. Like, the guy loves the Raiders. Like, he really does love playing for the Raiders. But and now, like you said, he's not happy about this.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Sometimes those coaches do get the axe regardless of what the owner said just a few short weeks ago. And sometimes, Joe, you can't have it both ways. Like a Jets fan, you probably want them to tank. They're doing a really good job of that by not even being competitive at this point. But at the same time, you sort of want it to be, we're not competitive winning games, but it looks like we have a future. We might have found our quarterback. We got a good foundation. Nothing is going right.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
It's going to open up Pandora's box. But I will say this. I do believe players that sign now, like Najee, should not be eligible now, but should have to sit out and come back in next year. It's just a slippery slope. And I agree with people like Tom Izzo. I don't like it at all.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
LeBron James gets that news today. What is today?
Today's his birthday.
Oh, I'm sorry? The greatest birthday gift that LeBron James has ever gotten is the reality, the smack in the face that he's no longer an all-star.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
foam ceiling. Football Friday, we did it in style. One segment left here on the early line before we kick off this weekend, and it's going to be a big one with the NFL doubleheader here on Saturday. You actually got 4 college football bowl games today. Next week, playoffs in college football, playoffs in the NFL, Joe. I mean, it seems like the train never stops here. Remember the good times as we head off into this month of January.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, as you turn the calendar, right, you flip it over to a new year, and the first couple of weeks right off the bat, Donnie, it's just bam, playoffs, football, national championships, NHL, turning over the calendar, college basketball, the NBA begins the stretch run now. So a little something for everyone. And when do pitchers and catchers report, Donnie?
It feels like tomorrow, you know what I mean? Early February, then you get the World Baseball Classic. Major League Baseball just ended. We just saw the Dodgers win the World Series, and now we're gearing right back up for it. And was again, hey, Joe, man, can't wait for this. Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys open the season. We're already in the playoffs at this point now. Weekly Heat is here. It's unbelievable. And we talk a lot during these shows. It's time to find out what the people have to say. Here's our Fade the Public poll. College football playoff, you know it's on our mind. Indiana looks fantastic. Miami pulling upset victories here, back-to-back wins against quality opponents. But the question we asked today on SportsGrid, or should I say at SportsGrid on X, simple. Who will win the college football national championship? A week ago, probably the majority would have just said Ohio State. Well, Ohio State's not in it. Your 4 options are the only 4 left, Joe. Indiana, Oregon, Miami, and Ole Miss. You know I went Miami's sentimental value, but the people are saying it's Indiana, now up live to 56%, Joe.
I think they're right on 2 fronts. I think the national championship game is going to be Indiana against Miami, and it's going to be at the yard. It's going to be at Hard Rock. It's going to be at the home stadium of Miami. How wild is that going to be? But I think they are the 2 most physical teams that remain out of the 4, Donnie. And I think that is ultimately is what is going to get them to that national championship game. And if it happens that way, you'd be hard pressed not to find, especially you and I, backing the Canes in that spot.
I mean, absolutely fun, though. It is. Like Indiana, you saw where it's going to get there. We just didn't know how impressive they would be. They're ultra. They knocked off Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. They knock off a blue blood in Alabama. They move forward. Oregon has always been on that national precipice of we want to get back to a championship game. I think they lost to what? The Auburn's Cam Newton in that crazy Nate game with Dyer. Thought he was down, wasn't down. They came away with a victory there. And then, of course, the old guard with Miami, looking to get back up on top. Impressive victories. Then there's Ole Miss, who doesn't really make it to the stage, but it's an SEC team without their head coach plowing forward. Great stuff here on the horizon. But now, starting the new year with some best bet winners. That's how we do it. Here's bye. Starting in style, Joe. The floor is yours. Where are we headed for a winner tonight?
Oh, we are going bowling here, Donnie, and we're going to head to this Liberty Bowl, 4:30 Eastern time today. Navy taking on Cincinnati. And listen, I gave you the stats earlier here. It is just absolutely imperative of all the bowl games that you circle the ones with military academies playing in them. Why? Because they have been ATM machines backing. Why is that? Well, it's pretty simple, especially now in an NIL era where Navy kids aren't chasing the bag. They're not getting rated by the Texas Techs of the world or the Alabamas of the world, which means they're extremely motivated and they are ready to play football. And that is exactly what you're going to see here today. Cincinnati, 9 starters have already opted out. The backups have opted out. But more importantly, Brandon Sorsby, their All-American quarterback, he's likely on his way to Texas Tech to be their new quarterback. So it's just too much turnover, too much motivation. Lay the touchdown, lay the 7.5. This has got blowout written all over it with Navy.
I'll tell you what, should have blowout written all over it as well for me, Joe. I'm headed to the NBA, a 7:30 tip time tonight. The Denver Nuggets and the Cleveland Cavaliers. What if I would have told you, wait a second, the Nuggets are getting 13 points. I don't care who's playing this game. Nonsense. because 70% of the public are also saying, hey, that's too many points. Not for me. Nobody wants to take the Cleveland Cavaliers, but your boy DRS taking those Cleveland Cavaliers minus 13 tonight, taking on the Denver Nuggets at home. Let's go Cavs, let's go Navy, and away we go into the new year with winners and more winners and more winners. Thanks for joining us today. We'll be back bright and early on Monday, getting you ready for an unbelievable weekend start and also playoff football in college and pros. We'll see you then.